Hi, Ted Brooks with Alfra Maglogix again. I want to give you a little bit of a primer on the concept of magnetism. Magnetism is quite simple. It's electrons floating in space trying to find the center line of the magnets again. If you have a very large field of electrons emanating from your magnet, such as an electromagnet does, it's going to take very thick steel to redirect all those electrons back through the steel back to the center line of the magnets. What that means is a typical electromagnet will give you all the full power they claim that they have. If your steel is 3, maybe even 4 inches thick, that's as thick as this square tube stock in front of me. How often do you even see steel this thick, much less work with it or lift it? Maybe you get a little bit higher quality magnet, one of the new switchable permanent magnets, maybe the ones that crank the handle over 90 degrees to the side to turn on. Those are typically full power at 2.5 inches thick for the larger ones, maybe only 1.5 inches thick for the smallest ones. So the problem becomes what happens when you get to thinner metal. Sometimes they won't even let you lift the thinner metal because you can't redirect the electrons sufficiently with a thin piece of steel. In this case, I'm looking at a piece of 1/8 inch galvanized coated square tube stock. There's very few magnets in the world today that can safely hold on with any force at all to only 1/8 inch thick steel. And here's the reason why Alfra Maglogix magnets can do it. I don't have a north and a south pole creating a huge field of electrons like everybody else in the world today does. What our partner Jim Michael designed and invented right here in Parker, Colorado is the world's first multi-pole magnet. I've done 4 different videos currently posted online about what's inside of these magnets and how well they work. Here I want to talk to you about how they redirect the electrons and what it means to somebody who's going to use these magnets for lifting. Behind this hardened steel titanium nitride coated base is actually 6 north and south poles arrayed in kind of a daisy pattern. What that means is our electrons don't float out in space looking for the center line to return to. They flip from this north to this south, from this south to this north, in such a small compact field that for the first time in history, we're the most effective in the world on thin metal and thick. The trick with magnets is to reach full power the fastest. It's really that simple. On 3/4 inch thick steel like we have here, 1 inch thick steel here, I've got a lot of competitors who can do a pretty fair job. They might weigh 50 pounds or more, but they can do a pretty fair job. The difference is when you get to thinner metal who can still do a pretty fair job. And right now, down to 1/8 inch and even less, there's nobody in the world who can touch the Alfra Maglogix magnets. Our field is so compact, it is so densely populated with that flux of the magnets, that while we're 100% full power on 3/4, we're 100% full power on inch. We're also 100% full power on 1/4 inch, and we're pretty good on 1/8. Get to a little bit bigger magnet like this, you actually double all those numbers. I've got 12 north and south poles, creating 100% full power, in this case 550 pounds of safe working load at 3-to-1 safety factor on only 5/16 inch thick steel. So what are we on 1/2 inch, 1 inch, 2 inch? 550 pounds safe working load at 3-to-1. What happens when you get to our bigger magnets? Now we've got 1,100 pounds safe working load at 3-to-1. And we do so starting at 3/8 of an inch thick, and we're pretty darn good on 1/4 inch and even 1/8. So what are we on 1 inch thick, 2 inch thick, 3 inch thick steel? 1,100 pounds safe working load at 3-to-1. The difference is this is much less expensive than many of our competitors. It's a lot lighter weight, which means you can take it off the hook and use it for a variety of purposes, including 1/8 inch thick steel, including 1 inch thick steel, including 3/4 inch thick steel. But it only weighs 16 pounds, only weighs 8 pounds, only weighs about 2 pounds. And it does so with all of this force on thinner and thinner metal than anybody else in the world can touch today. You've got a truly versatile magnet that will work where nobody else will, and will still work beautifully where other people actually can. That's the difference with Alfra Maglogix.